Okay, so we just read The Tale of Jack and the Fallen Giants, the second of these fairy tales by Jonathan Pageau, from the Symbolic World Press. And do you want to do you want to give a summary and then we'll talk about it?
Uh, so yeah, the story starts with a boy and his mother, and they're living in poverty. They're only sustained by the milk of a cow, but they don't really have any other food. So then one day the boy goes out like in search of a solution. Oh, and his name is Jack, by the way. But Jack goes out to find a way to resolve that problem, and he encounters an old man, and the
Well,
old
I mean,
man.
his mother tells him to sell their cow, right?
Mhm.
But then he tries to say, well, but the cow gives us milk, but she says we can't live on milk only. But yeah, so then he goes out, he understands her reasoning and he goes out to sell the cow.
Yeah, so he finds the old man to sell the cow to, and uh, the old man tells him that he has three beans, and um, that he could give in exchange for the cow. And then Jack is kind of questions how he could live off only three beans. And then the old man tells him that he's lacking wisdom and that those three beans could grow and reproduce and get provide more food than he could eat.
Yeah,
And
produce many more beans and
yeah,
on and on and on.
yeah,
But yeah, but he's not trying to sell the cow to the old man, but just he's going to the city to sell the cow, and the old man is on a bridge, and the old man kind of accosts him. But yeah.
yeah,
But so anyway, yeah, he sees the old man reasoning, and then he decides to sell him the to trade the cow
mm,
for the three
yeah,
beans.
yeah. So then he goes home and shows his mom the beans, and his mom tells him that he was scammed and that they can't possibly live off three beans, and she tosses him out the window. And Jack goes to sleep feeling kind of upset about the whole situation. And when he falls asleep, he has strange dreams where that old man comes again. And I forgot what question he asked him, but
I
he
can try
asks
to
him
see
some
the ri
question.
it's a
Yeah.
riddle that he gives him. Um, let's see. What has more weight, heaven or earth? Yeah, what has more weight, heaven or earth?
Mhm. So yeah, Jack wakes up, and when he looks out the window, he notices that there's like a giant beanstalk growing out in the yard. Um, and and yeah, he's still trying to solve the problem now with not having food. So I think he decides to climb up the beanstalk to see what could find.
Well, I think he's specifically excited to go. He's driven to go. And but then
Mm-hmm.
his mom calls after him.
Yeah, yeah, but he goes and then he climbs for days, and he ha encounters a castle made out of rock. And he by this point he's very hungry and tired. So
And it's kind of a
um,
roughly hewn castle.
yeah, so he finds the castle and goes through one of the three doors that get bigger, and then he encounters his giant lady, and he asks the lady for food, and she tells him that he's in great danger, um and that her husband like is somewhere out and about, and that he sh and she hides him in the cupboard before he
Yeah, and
comes back.
he'll eat you.
Yeah. So yeah, the husband comes back, and he says will found he smells the blood of someone,
A
and
little
then
one.
yeah, and that he'll make his bones into bread or something.
Yeah.
Um, so then Jack is hiding in the cupboard, and the wife kind of tells him that he wasn't smelling anything and to just eat.
Mm,
So he kind of relents and she feeds him dumplings made out of bronze. And after a few dumplings, gets tired and falls asleep.
mm,
Um, so then Jack is kind of astounded at bronze dumplings and he takes three of them and goes back down to Beanstalk.
mm.
When he gets home, he gives his mom the dumplings and they're able to sell it for like a lot of food and other things that they need. But then after a while, they run out of the bronze from the dumplings and they're kind of running out of food again. So he falls to sleep and he has a second dream where that old man comes again and he asks another riddle. I think
This
it's
one, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's asking like who has more power, like someone who can build a house or someone who can command someone to build a house.
That's another riddle. This one is what is more precious, the beginning or the end?
Yeah, so then he wakes up and he wants to climb up the beanstalk again because he had noticed it keeps going further than the um, bronze castle. So he prepares food and sets off to climb the beanstalk.
And his
And
mother calls after him, but yeah, he keeps going up
mm,
and she sees that he's determined.
mm. So he keeps climbing past the bronze castle and his food runs out again. But he eventually reaches the silver castle and yeah, it's kind of like a gleaming, it's like a palace. It like this kind of looks like the Taj Mahal, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
very
this.
nice. Yeah, much nicer than the first one, the
Mhm,
engineering and the luxuriousness of it.
mhm. So yeah, he goes into the castle again and he finds another giant lady and she once again tells him that he's in danger from her husband if he finds him. So she hides him in, I think, another cupboard again. And the husband comes back and says the same thing, like, fee fi fo hum, he smells a little one, and that if he finds him, he'll use his bones for bread, or I don't know, or crush him until I don't know, grind him.
You're gonna eat
But
them, yeah. Can't remember.
yeah, um, so this time the wife again kind of tells her husband that, uh, yeah, that there isn't anyone here, and she feeds him a chicken. Um,
Well, she
and
gives him a chicken.
yeah, and it lays silver eggs. So the husband eats several eggs and then uh, falls asleep. So Jack sees the silver eggs and is astounded, and he steals the chicken and climbs down the beanstalk. Once he gets home, he brings his mom the egg silver laying chicken, and the chicken makes them wealthy with the silver, and he kind of becomes known as this very clever, successful person, and they're able to attend to all their needs with the wealth they're obtaining.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think after a while, like Jack can't stop thinking about what goes beyond the Silver Castle. Um, he keeps thinking about it and wants to go higher. So when he falls asleep one night and he dreams again about the old man, and the old man comes and poses another riddle.
And that's the one that you said before. Who is stronger, a man who can build a house or a man who can tell others to do it for him?
So he wakes up and decides to climb the past that silver castle, and his mom kind of tells him that he doesn't need to go and that they have all they need now. But um, he, but yeah, he's not interested in that anymore. But more his own curiosity of what's beyond that.
Mm.
So he packs twice as much food as before and climbs past the rock castle and the silver castle. And it takes so much time that he starts to lose track of time, but he's able to see the earth and um, the stars and stuff,
And a
and it
giant,
feels
yeah, he
endless.
sees the whole shape of the earth with a giant serpent coiled around its base.
Mhm. So yeah, after what feels like endless, he finally comes across like a white iridescent castle and a crystal sea. And yeah, the castle looks gleaming and it has pearl and stuff on it. And it's more magnificent than all the other
Translucent.
castles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes into this castle and he finds a giant lady again, and she gives him the same warning that her husband is out on a chariot and across the crystal sea and that he'll be in danger when he comes home. So she hides him in a chest, and then right when she does that, her husband comes in and says the same stuff that he smells a little one and that he'll grind him or make him into bread.
Mm.
Uh, but this time the wife distracts him with music from a golden harp, and that music is very powerful, and Jack feels overwhelmed by it
Mm.
to where he thinks he might be mad or
Mm.
become mad.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's something beautiful too.
But then after the fear of madness passes, yeah, he's transported
Mhm.
and feels very expansive and creative and
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah, so the music makes the giant husband go to sleep, and Jack uses that as an opportunity to climb up him and try to steal the golden harp. So then he takes the harp, but as he touches the harp, it makes music and it wakes up the giant husband. And Jack makes a run for it at that point. But and the giant husband wakes up and chases him down the beanstalk. And as Jack goes down the beanstalk, all the other giants from the silver and bronze castle chase him down. And I think it's with other giants too, like maybe
Yeah.
the wives, but I don't know.
Well, the wife,
Uh,
I think of the silver giant, but then when the bronze giant, the first giant, chases him, it's with his two brothers. So six
yeah,
giants total, I think.
yeah. So yeah, more giants start chasing him as he descends down the different levels of castles until finally he reaches the earth, and they're still not onto him yet. So he runs back home and takes a rusty axe. And his mom is wondering what's happening and stuff. Um, so he has about an hour and he uses that time to start hacking away at the base of the beanstalk. And he gets really tired and blustered, but he keeps going because there's like thunder and stuff, and that's kind of like their giant's footsteps as they're descending down.
Mhm.
Um, and finally, he's able to cut through the beanstalk completely, and the giants fall. So one giant falls to the ocean and causes a tsunami, I think.
That's the bronze giant and the brothers, right?
Mm. And then another giant falls on the earth and causes an earthquake.
That's the silver giant and his wife.
Mhm. Yeah, and then the other giant falls on the mountain and causes a volcanic eruption.
Mm.
And yeah, like a small city is destroyed.
Mm.
Then after that, Jack has the golden harp and the eggs and stuff, and he with the harp he becomes even more powerful and eventually becomes king.
Yeah, he
Um,
makes wise decisions. Like
mhm,
before, he had been known as making wise decisions with his money, with investing the eggs, but now even more so with his good judgment.
mhm,
He gains fame and kind of like Arthur, maybe, in at least some of the tales, through the renowned, he becomes king.
mhm. Yeah, so he establishes a kingdom, but the giants are still alive and they want revenge, I guess, for stealing and stuff.
Mm,
So they prowl around the kingdom, causing problems and stuff, and
mm,
Jack has to deal with it.
mm. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and that's the end of the story. Yeah. So what do you think about this story?
I liked it. Um, there's just a lot in the story.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Uh,
Yeah, more than what I remember from any particular tale that I'd remembered. And I thought I'd remembered originally I mean there being one giant and him dying or something like that.
mm,
And there was a goose that laid the golden eggs instead of the silver eggs. But
mm.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I thought maybe the story is kind of about what sustains people or
Mm,
something.
mm.
Because there's basic needs like food and stuff, but I thought maybe it's saying that like maybe like beauty and stuff like that also kind of sustain people. Like
Beauty,
because when he got
order,
to the harp, yeah.
yeah, beauty and order and truth in the form of like good
Mm,
judgment. Yeah,
mm,
which leads to good governance. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good summary of what this is basically about. It's kind of like a hierarchy of needs.
mm,
Like it starts off with just, uh, you know, the parents providing for Jack. Like the father provides him a house and an axe and tools and a cow, and the mother provides him with caring and food. But then he has to go out. And at first, and he's also using his brain even when he starts off at home negotiating with his mom, but he's not, but he's only thinking of keeping the cow because there is a logic to it. It provides them milk instead of selling it for food or slaughtering it, which would be something similar. But yeah, she kind of convinces him, we do need food. And there's probably symbolism to him thinking only of milk as food, like him being like an infant.
mm,
But yeah, then he goes out. And there's a bridge which symbolizes the threshold, danger, the outside world, the leaving of the womb or the leaving of the safe known places. But luckily, he has the magical helper, the wizard, and and the wizard again uh, engages his mind. Jack is still somewhat suspicious and negotiates, but the wizard is able
mm,
to convince him with reason that even though beans don't look like much, like many things that are valuable, they don't look like much, but they will proliferate.
mm,
So yeah, he negotiates, but his mother doesn't. This time, his reasoning is superior to his mother's. And when he goes back and shows her the beans, she doesn't see the promise in them, and she simply throws them out the window. Although I think there might be something there with throwing them out the window, or maybe that's just a kind of a good setup where she
mm,
doesn't have to go outside, or maybe she knows not what she does, but still, like that carelessness still helps along the story or something like that. It's
mhm,
maybe about how in life, like seemingly bad luck can still have promise and lead you forward in life.
mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was also maybe just about the roles of like mothers and fathers too.
Mm,
It seems like the mother and like the lady giants in the stories, they're all kind of like kind of protectors and like in kind of in a way that keeping him safe and stuff. And
Yeah,
the monk questions why he's leaving when they have all the basic needs met. That
that's right.
the wizard and uh kind of takes on like a father role and kind of pushing uh a young Jack to kind of go out and become a man in a way.
Hmm.
Uh, and all those male giants chasing him down kind of give him the challenges and stuff to kind
Hmm.
of overcome.
And
Uh,
they give him literally the money, although
yeah,
he does so at the risk of their
yeah,
eating him.
yeah. So I thought it was also just a how, like, especially for young men, how they become men.
Mm.
Yeah, too.
Yeah. And yeah, with that, that's a very black and white thing too, where he either does better in life or he dies. You know, he has to get the silver dumplings and get away with them or die. Or same with the chicken that laid the silver eggs, and same with the harp. Yeah, there's utter stakes involved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the women are only thinking of his protection and safety, but he has to maybe decide when to leave that to try to risk a better life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that first he doesn't want to leave the house at first, but then like at the beginning of the story, but then later on he ends up wanting to when he sees the beanstalk the first time, the book says that he has a drive to go up. So there's an inner sort of drive from then on to go forward. And same thing later on after they get the chicken that laid the silver eggs, they have everything that they need, including like a good reputation, but and good connections with neighbors and things. But he still has a drive for more ambition to become a master in some way, to become a king. In this case, a king of the realm that fights giants, that fights impending disasters, and has ambition. But you could transfer that to like a spiritual sense where after you've had some reasoning and you've learned to take care of your physical well-being, your material needs, after that you have a need for transcendence. You have a need for higher things represented by the harp, which doesn't give them anything material necessarily, but represents harmony, reason, beauty, uh, and truth in the form of good judgment. So there's the three transcendentals: truth, beauty, and goodness. And he gets that with the harp, and because he has those things, he becomes the ruler. He becomes the king. Yeah, but yeah, he's not done with the giants. They survive. I think the Giants might also, this is also probably a Christian tale, and the Giants and the their ways where they consume what is good for human beings. So what is useful for human beings, like knowledge and order and beauty and gold or excuse me, silver and bronze. They consume those things without thought as to utility. So they're consuming use. They're useless. They're ravenous. They're greedy. They want to eat human beings, even though they have no need for that. Uh, yeah, these may represent in the Christian for Christians the old gods, and the old gods have to be destroyed. to have the earthly Christian, somewhat heaven on earth kingdom that has to do something with self-mastery and with mastery of nature, even with the earthquakes and the volcanoes and the floods, all kind of ravage, threatening to ravage the earth.
Mhm.
But Jack is the everyman. The he is like, some of the Hebrew prophets or Jesus who had lowly origins, but through self-mastery and through uh, kind of divine gifts, they become the king on earth, and not through conquering necessarily either. Although there is some war involved, it says that he does fight some wars. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good story. Do you have any other thoughts?
Mhm. So far, I just enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Yeah. Yeah, and when Pageau comes out with the third one, I'll buy it and we'll talk about it then.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Mhm. Bye.